Hi everyone, this is Stacy with your November SoTL update. At this point, you will have completed at least 5 modules, maybe even up to 7 or 8. And you should be starting to see how some of these techniques that you're trying in your classroom and the reflections that you're writing afterwards could potentially add up to a larger research project. And that's what I'm here for. So just as a reminder, I am adding information to the Faculty Center for Innovation's website, so innovatepark.org, under the heading of SoTL, or the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. And each month I'm going to give you some new information so that as you are working on your AQ course and writing your reflections, you can keep in mind that you could be working on a possible scholarly project that you might present at a conference or publish in a journal. So I'm going to share my screen here just for a minute to show you the website. The Faculty Center for Innovation's website, innovatepark.org. Up here at the top is a tab for SoTL. And the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, or SoTL's webpage here, shows the initial information that I presented you back at orientation about just a little background information about how to go about starting a SoTL project. And there's some information here, links that will take you to much more detailed information about the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. And then last month in your October update, I provided some information about the Institutional Review Board, which is a requirement that you apply to this committee if you're going to be using any student work or interviews with the students as part of your scholarly project, which if you're doing any of these AQ innovations, very likely you're going to need to apply for IRB approval. And I provided some information about that, as well as a sample consent form that I highly recommend that you use. And you can go back and look at my previous video to get a bit more detailed information about IRB. This month, I'd like to introduce some information about getting started with your project and considering the questions and problems that are going to guide you. Oh, you can hear my cat in the background. You can see I'm doing this video at home today. In terms of getting started on your scholarly project, you're going to want to consider your baseline. So where are you starting? What is your current classroom? What does it look like right now? What problems might you be encountering? Where do you see opportunities for improvement, expansion, innovation, clarification? What might you hope to accomplish by making changes in your classroom? And so as you're thinking about those questions, I brought in some information from Pat Hutchings, who is a wonderful SoTL scholar who has published many, many books and articles. And one of her most famous edited collections is called Opening Lines: Approaches to the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. It was published a decade and a half ago, but it's still highly relevant, and you'll see it referenced all the time in SoTL scholarship, especially when you're first getting started and considering ways to frame your research. And so I've provided you with some of the taxonomy of questions that she came up with to describe the different kinds of questions that guide SoTL projects. And so you can read my sort of synopses here of the different questions, but I highly recommend you check out a video of Pat herself telling you about these different questions. And those can be found at the Center for engaged learning at Elon University, and I've included that link here at the bottom of the handout, and it's also on the SoTL page on the FCI website. The reason you want to start with a question or a problem is the same reason that you would use a question or a problem to guide your disciplinary research. It keeps you focused, and you're starting with something that needs solving almost. And in that way, it will help you sort of have a goal in mind as you're working on your project. And once you have this sort of framing question or problem, or even a theoretical framework, then you can start to consider, okay, well, this is what I want to find out, or this is what I want to try in my classroom, and as part of this larger scholarly project, this is what I want to find out. But the next step, of course, is also figuring out what's already being said about that topic. Likely, there's already been other teachers and scholars who have attempted to try similar things. So you definitely want to consider doing at least a brief literature review, just finding out what's out there, what other people are saying and talking about regarding these issues, to help give you a little bit of context and perhaps even guidance as you are trying out these techniques in your classroom, because those scholars might have learned some helpful tips or solutions for you to implement in your classroom, and that you can then adapt for your own purposes and then present in your own way in your scholarship. I've provided you with a couple of obvious places that you might look for information to fill in that literature review. Obviously, our library is a good research or a good resource. Using our online pirate search, interlibrary alone will get you texts and articles pretty quickly. And our librarians are also always willing to help you find the kinds of information you need. There are also lots of online journals and resources open to you, open access really, free of charge, that you can find online. And you are always welcome to ask us at the Faculty Center for advice or suggestions on where you might look, or possibly authors or books that already deal with parts of what you're interested in learning more about. Hopefully this has been useful for you, and next month and the following months I'll sort of provide new information that helps you along the path. If you're moving more quickly than the information that I'm presenting to you, then let me know, contact me, send me an email, and I will help you individually. If you are still unsure whether you might want to do a project, if after considering these questions that I've presented with you or presented to you, you're unsure what question best fits your project, or if you just want to brainstorm a little bit, again, let me know. I love talking about this stuff, brainstorming what potential projects might be. As an English professor, this is always my favorite part of research projects, is the brainstorming part of things. So let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking with some of you as you work on your projects. And again, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll see you next month. Thank you very much.